It was funny. Years ago, I even said it before I heard it, and I always thought, outside of the conflicts of war, it'd be a form of population control, and of course it would be a comment that's awfully scoffed at. But prior to this attack, weren't we talking earlier about different strains of COVID, different strains of other, illness, and then there was a possibility of mask mandates and what have you. In other words, the rinse and repeat from 2021 or 2020, that area. So now, what happens? We stopped talking about the mask during the invasion of Ukraine, and now this happened when there was a discussion earlier about the new COVID. So, if you believe in anything about the powers to be, so to speak, the system, the whatever it is, did you correlate that too? I always find it funny. I told this is a good example of observation. If you ever get a desk blotter with a calendar, I can't do this cognitively, but it was an idea that spawned from current events back in 2016. And I said to my friend, if we got an ink blotter and we were to write down every month what the news topics were, and you have a diary of, we have the COVID, we get the mask mandates, we have this happening, we got that happening, we got this happening. There's the very thing happened when the Ukraine got invaded. What did we notice? Somehow we just stopped talking about COVID-19. We stopped talking about the mask mandate. How would we forget about the jab all of a sudden? And that's the funny part, because a lot of military people were kicked out of the army, military in the US of A for not doing the jab. And now, after all that bullshit's happened, now they're realizing this was ineffective. That was ineffective. We're going to have to hire you back for violating your civil rights with back pay. These kind of things. Now, with hindsight, look what's ahead of us. Look what's around us presently. So, if we go and escalate further, is this thing about population control more a reality than it is actually a fantasy? And the soap opera drama of social politics and religious politics are basically the smokescreen, the facade of a different reality. This is just observational, but again, from theory to practice, find a desk blotter, the calendar, put it on the wall, and write down top events of each month. You might just do one thing, you might do nothing, you might do a bunch. But you're going to notice that the topic prior is moot. Or I should say mute. M-U-T-E. Because it's no longer a hot topic. Our news is very selective. Very much so. So if it's guiding us to this direction and later that direction, well, what was the conclusion of this one? Food for thought. But for your purposes, for your personal reality, ink blotter, put it on a wall, or your desk blotter with the year calendar, and write down the news topics of the month. First of the month, what's on the news? And it might be inconsequential at the moment, but it might be something big later on. But you're going to see how we're being guided. But when we get redirected, what's happening there? We don't know. They won't tell us. So, be studious, be observant, free your mind, and filter the bullshit.